Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today, we are in the middle of wrapping up my best, worst, most surprising and everything. And today we are talking about the best books in other genres. So, this is my list. I do usually like romances, books that I feel like have a really romance plot. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Some of these books have like romances in them, but I don't feel like that is the main focus on at least this book. Some of these are in a series, but we are going to explain more about that later. Let's talk about number 10, and that is Long Way Down. This is basically about this boy, and his brother gets killed, and now he must decide if he's going to take revenge or if he's just going to let it pass. And basically this book takes place during an elevator ride. And during this elevator ride, the elevator stops at every single floor, and in comes a different person that he gets advice from. This was such a unique story. I have never read anything like this. And it was short. I read it in like a sitting, and yeah, it was just really fascinating and something completely different. Number 9 is The Black Flamingo, and this is a pretty short book too, so I don't want to spoil too much. But we are following this boy, and he's like a teenager. He don't have everything set, I'm gonna say a little confused about life and everything like that, like teenagers usually are. But then he finds like the drag community where he lives, and kind of things is kind of easier for him. And yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to explain about this book. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, read it in a sitting. It's a pretty short book. So number 8 is Sleeping Giants, and in this one we start the book with a small girl who is basically out on her bike, and she falls off and into a hole and basically lands in a metal hand. Then we kind of skip years ahead, where she is going to basically work on this secret project to see if there is more basically of this metal kind of machine. And yeah, this is told through like interviews, so it's a really interesting concept and I like it. I really want to continue on. People say that this book is not like the next books are not as good, but I really want to continue on because this one ended pretty abruptly and I really want to know what is going to happen. Number 7 is Throne of Glass, and I do know that this is a fantasy series, like really people call it a fantasy romance series. So in this one we are following Selena, and she is a prisoner, but then she's kind of saved out of this by the prince, and he says that basically be the person that I kind of have in this tournament, where the winner will basically be the king's assassin. And this is kind of a fantasy series. However, I don't feel like in the first book is much focusing on the romance, so I don't feel like I want to call this a fantasy romance yet, because there is romance in it, yes, but I don't feel like the romance is too much in center to kind of put it in a really romance genre. But I do know that it will be more romance heavy in basically as the series progresses. So yeah, maybe like when I have reached that point, if one of those lists or one of those books makes it to a list, it will be on romance instead. But I feel like this book kind of belongs more in like another genre. Like this is a fantasy book that like really progresses more into the fantasy romance later on. Number 6 is Six of Crows, and in this one we are following a band, or not a band, but a group of people who basically are set to a task to break into this place and basically get out a person and to pay for a debt. And this was so good. I really loved it, and I can't wait to this to be a TV show. I have heard rumors about that, and I really hope we will get to that. I really feel like they have done a really well done job with Shadow and Bone, and I hope they will do a really good, work with Six of Crows as well. And what I really love, now I have not read Crooked Kingdom yet, but I do really love how in Shadow and Bone, the TV show, you get to see how the characters kind of came to be where they are right now. Number 5 is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and in this one we are following Addie LaRue, and basically one night she runs off and she basically makes a bargain with kind of a god that comes out after dark. And basically what happens is that she can live forever. However, she will never be remembered. So no one will ever remember her. When she walks out of her room, someone forgets her. And basically one day, a person remembers her. So there is also a romance in this. However, I don't feel like that is the main plot. Like, there is a romance in it, but it's mostly about Addie LaRue and kind of her figuring out everything. And yeah, so I mean, me reading really romance heavy books, I just don't feel like this fits like within my other romances, but I really loved this book, and it's definitely something I want to own a physical copy of. I just have other books that I want to buy and everything, and I don't have the money to buy all the books that I want. Number 4 is Lies of Locke Lamora, and this is about Locke, and he is kind of the leader of a group, and they are also thieves, and basically they are on a task, and things happen. I don't know what I want to tell about this book. It's really good, and it's number 4 on this list. I can't wait to continue on with this series, and yeah, I really loved this book. Number 3 is The Final Empire, and in this one, basically the bad guy won, and now years later, people are wanting to rebel, and in this world there are these people who can basically invest metals to kind of have powers, and you usually only can wield one metal. However, there are people who can wield all of them, and they are called Mistborns. And in this one we are following this guy who is a Mistborn, and he's kind of a part of this, he's the leader of this rebellion group. And then he meets this girl, and he soon figures out that she is also a Mistborn, and he is basically taking her into his group and is going to teach her, and so that she can help out in the rebellion. Number 2 is the 5th season, and in this one we are following basically this world where there is a fifth season, and basically that ruins the whole world. And then there are these people who basically can control the the earth, but they are hunted and killed basically when there are not a fifth season. And in this one we are following different perspectives, and they are all doing different things, and you kind of feel like they need to connect somehow. And I'm going to say that the way they connect, I didn't see that, but it was super interesting. I love it. I read it in like a day, and I don't regret it, and I can't wait to read the rest of the books. I hope I really like them as much. Then number 1 is the Fellowship of the Ring, or more like that Lord of the Rings series, but I have said that only one book from each author, just so I don't have one author who is throughout the whole list. So in this one we are following Frodo, and basically there are darkness that is kind of creeping in, and Gandalf, who is a wizard, he comes and says to Frodo that you need to bring kind of the One Ring to rule them all to Mount Doom to get rid of the darkness. And basically they go together. There are like 9, is it 9 or 7? 7, I think. People who kind of go out on this quest, and I have read the books. I loved them so much, and after that I watched the movies and I loved it even more. So yeah, this was so good, and I can't wait to reread it. I can't wait to re-watch the TV show. No, not the TV show, but I can't wait to watch the TV show either, which comes out in like 2022, like later this year, which is crazy. But I can't wait to watch the movies again. But definitely start with The Hobbit, because that is like the backstory on how Frodo got the ring, and you should definitely do that first. But I just feel like I like the Fellowship of the Ring more, or that's serious. I just feel like they are just, you have 3 books in the Lord of the Rings, but I just feel like those books you can have in one book, because they are just moving on. But that was all the best books in other genres, like mostly fantasy, and yeah, mostly fantasy, which is kind of crazy because right now I'm in a fantasy slump. So, but yeah, that was all the books. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next time for another one. Bye!